Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome once again to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. This morning, we're working on the 22-inch hydroplane from Toucan Hobbies, the E22, or as I'm going to call it, the Wonder Woman 56. Oh, before I get too much into this discussion, one of my viewers, who, for the sake of this discussion, I shall call Tony asked me, do I have any more short circuit kits? And to that, I have this answer. Tony, I have 2 short circuit kits. Send to me an email. Back to this. Today, we're going to talk about how I'm going to mount the strut. Now, Big B would show you how. I'm just going to tell you how. It'll be a whole lot quicker. Maybe not nearly as informative, but it'll be a whole lot quicker. I'm assuming most of you people watching this already have some experience with these things. So here's the plan. I first measured the bottom here of the tunnel, and up into about right here, it's dead flat. From here, it starts to roll off into the nose. So for the sake of our discussion, I'm only concerned with the ride point right here, the back of the sponsons, and that part of the tunnel past it. So that's all flat there. So my plan is going to be this. This strut is adjustable, but it only has 3/32 of an eighth of an inch of adjustment. Not a whole lot, but enough if done properly. So here's what I'm going to do. Now, normally you would set this on a setup board flat and set everything flat and then dial things in. But remember, it's to the center of your propeller that your reference is, not the bottom of the strut so much. So you want the center of the propeller to be even with the bottom of the strut. So here's what I'm going to do. Because this strut has a diameter, and I can figure out what it is, I can measure this diameter of the strut and subtract half the diameter, the radius, from the bottom of this, and you have the center of the propeller. So if I were to make a spacer that was the same thickness as this radius and prop the sponsons that high above my setup board, then I can use the bottom of this strut as a reference, and then I'll be referencing the center line here. Then what I'll do is, it has this much adjustment. I'll clamp it in the middle of that adjustment, and then on the setup board, that will give me the height of these screws above the setup board. So I'll have this clamped down, this propped up. I'll get the hull level with the board with, some blocks and shims, and then come in and mark where this goes. And that will be my plan for that. Then I'll establish a center this about that, center punch, drill the holes, and then my plan is to come in with a piece of G10 shaped roughly like that, with holes in it at that distance, and then put a little grease on these threads, slip it in here, put some epoxy and Cabosil on the back of that plate, and clamp it in there just snug. And the idea is I want a nice flat surface for these nuts to sit on when I tighten things up. And that'll help spread the loads. The transom's really thick along the edges, but towards the middle it thins out. And that's where I'm going to be putting this. So we'll beef it up in the middle just a little bit. And that, boys and girls, is how I'm going to hang my strut. So I'll have it neutral, and I'll be able to go negative a little bit and positive a little bit. There you go. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.